Welcome to this explainer. Today we're unpacking a really fascinating devotional text called The Heart Beyond the Ritual, analyzing Psalm 50, specifically verse 14. We're going to dive deep into our daily spiritual practices. Are we just, going through the motions? Or is there an actual beating heart behind what we do? Looking at this through the lens of Reformed Calvinist theology, which, as we know, emphasizes God's absolute sovereignty and the fact that we totally cannot earn his favor through mechanical works, we are going to figure out what the Father actually desires from us. So let's lay our foundation directly from the Bible. Psalm 50, verse 14, literally says, "Sacrifice a thank offering to God and fulfill your vows to the Most High." That's the core tension we're tackling today. The idea that true obedience is a response to grace, absolutely not a way to earn it. This one verse perfectly frames the massive difference between just an empty external sacrifice and the kind of authentic internal gratitude that the Father is actually looking for. To give you the big picture first, here is our roadmap for this explainer. First, the redeemed by God key verse. Second, empty religion versus true relationship. Third, the main argument and evidence. Fourth, step-by-step heart alignment. Fifth, implications for college students. And finally, a final conclusion and sincere prayer. Okay, let's dive into the details. Starting with part 1, redeemed by God key verse. Let's set the historical context directly from the Bible. So the historical context here is super important. In the Bible, God is addressing his people, and he is seriously warning them because he's not at all impressed by their religious activity when their hearts are completely far from him. Back then, God's people were constantly bringing animal sacrifices to the altar. And honestly, from the outside, everything looked great. The rituals were being followed to the absolute letter. But God, in his absolute sovereignty, steps in to challenge these outward actions. Why? Because the actions had completely detached from the heart. He is basically saying that going through the motions of an animal sacrifice is entirely pointless if there's no actual devotion driving it. Moving on to part 2, empty religion versus true relationship, where we'll analyze two very contrasting theories of devotion. This is where we compare these two distinct approaches. On one side, we have empty religion. This is all about outward actions, religious activity, performance, and just routine, without devotion. It's that trap of thinking, hey, if I just check these boxes, God's going to be happy. But man, leaning on Reformed theology, we know for a fact we bring absolutely nothing to the table to earn our salvation. Contrast that with true relationship on the right side. This is defined by genuine thanksgiving, obedience, gratitude, and a real daily dependence on God. It's a profound realization that because the Father has already given us literally everything through his grace, our only logical response is living a life of deep, sincere thankfulness. That brings us to part 3, the main argument and evidence. Let's look at exactly why the Father rejects these empty rituals. So why does he reject them? The core finding here is simple. God is just not moved by empty religion. He absolutely does not need animal sacrifices because, well, he already owns everything. He lacks nothing at all. On top of that, he so easily sees right through outward actions that lack actual devotion. I mean, you can't trick the Creator, right? What he is genuinely looking for is sincerity, gratitude, and real devotion, not a performance. And honestly, this main argument is incredibly freeing because God is entirely self-sufficient. He isn't demanding our performance to somehow fill a void in him. He wants our gratitude because it rightly aligns us with his truth and his sovereignty. Let's transition to part 4, step-by-step heart alignment. This is a highly practical process for living this out. The document gives us this fantastic step-by-step procedure to move from internal reflection to external, gratitude-driven obedience. Step 1, examine whether your spiritual life is driven by routine or relationship. You've got to be brutally honest with yourself here. Step 2, ask God to realign your heart wherever it feels a bit too mechanical. We rely totally on him to do the changing in us. Step 3, return to simple, honest worship rather than putting on a performance. Step 4, start your day by intentionally thanking God instead of just immediately jumping into a list of requests. Take a second to acknowledge his daily grace. And step 5, actually follow through on your commitments to God and to others. It's crucial to understand this isn't some new legalistic checklist. It's a beautifully structured way to cultivate a heart that beats with true thankfulness instead of religious guilt. Which leads us into part 5, implications for college students. We need to recognize the real danger of busy ministry seasons. Now, if you are a college student, or maybe you're helping lead a campus ministry, listen closely because this directly applies to you. You are in a wildly unique season of life. It's packed with papers, exams, social stuff, and ministry events. And the research highlights that in these incredibly busy seasons of campus leadership, it is so easy to subconsciously start relying on your spiritual activity. Attending every meeting, leading small groups, organizing the events, instead of actually cultivating true, quiet intimacy with God. You could literally be the most active person on campus, but still have a heart that is completely distant from the Father. That kind of spiritual exhaustion usually comes from trying to perform for God rather than just resting in His finished work. God absolutely isn't asking students for perfection. He's asking for sincere, daily integrity. The text says it perfectly. Worship is not just what happens in a gathering, but how we live daily with gratitude and integrity before Him. So the big takeaway for college students, and frankly for all of us, is that your greatest act of worship probably isn't the song you sing at a campus gathering on a Tuesday night. It's waking up on a Wednesday morning, heading to class, treating people with respect, studying diligently, and doing it all with a profound sense of gratitude for what God has provided. It's allowing a genuinely thankful heart to shape your obedience in those quiet, everyday moments. And finally, part 6, final conclusion and sincere prayer. The core takeaway here is simply to give God a sincere heart. To wrap up the findings of this explainer, the conclusion of the research is crystal clear. We are called to a lifestyle shaped by sincere devotion, not religious guilt. We actively need to abandon our empty habits. We have to recognize our own inability, ask the Father for forgiveness for all the times we've treated our faith like a mere checklist, and consciously let gratitude shape our obedience. If your obedience is being driven by guilt, by pressure, or by some need to earn your standing before God, you're missing out on the beautiful freedom of the gospel. He already owns everything. He has already completely secured your redemption. All He is asking for in return is a sincere heart. So I'm going to leave you with this final provocative question from the source material to really chew on today. Where has your spiritual life become more routine than relational? And where is God calling you to respond with real gratitude instead of just empty words? Take some time today to genuinely process that. Let it challenge you to move past the ritual and rediscover the actual heart of your faith. Thank you so much for hanging out with me for this explainer. Stay curious, stay sincere, and we'll catch you in the next one.